It's It's a great pleasure to welcome you for our discussion and ceremony announcing the winners of the FT Political Science Association annual student writing competition. And this year we're partly to increase the possibility of access for everybody. We're holding this online, even as people start to go back into so much more in-person contact. So over the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to introduce our judges who are going to briefly talk a little bit about the competition and some of the trends and interesting and high quality essays that you all submitted. And then I'm going to hand over for an announcement of the runners-up and the winners, and we should wrap up before 2 o'clock. So a reminder, this is our competition that we launched this spring. It's with the Political Studies Association, the Financial Times Free School Initiative, and also many thanks to our partners from the Association for Citizenship Teaching and from Shout Out. So all of these organizations very engaged in the idea of political debate and discussion, and with a real focus on the UK. Our essay challenge this year was, how do we need to reform our political system to tackle the UK's challenges? Unfortunately, the Association for Citizenship Teaching, that was also involved in the judging process, can't be here for the final, but we have our other 3 judges, my colleague Stephen Bush from the FT, Matteo Bergamini, the CEO and founder of Shout Out, and Michelle Doyle-Wildman from the PSA. So let me hand over to Stephen first of all, and the other judges to discuss a little bit what they thought of your insights and essays. Stephen.
Thanks very much, Andrew, and thank you all of you for both for coming and for your brilliant essays. I don't know about the rest of you, but I thought, I was really struck by how strong the entries were this year. I think definitely the strongest set I've ever but also I loved their breadth of, arguments about revolution, regional inequality, huge historical depth, really, kind of, things which were funny, things which were serious. What really stood out for you this year from the entries? I guess if you just all jump in and I'll.
Yes, I think Matteo, you're probably I get my bit in a minute, so over to you.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, I completely echo what you said, Stephen, that the breadth of the articles was amazing. The topics, like it's such a huge question with so many different possible ways, and you can really get bogged down by how many things you could really say and what kind of angles you could take. But there's been some that kind of blew me out the way, and I think it was really interesting that these elements of political literacy or political education came in some of the articles. This idea of transparency, diversity, and political representation were kind of themes that were permeating. But what I found interesting was that there are so many different ways of looking at even those specific themes and so many different angles, from the more radical to the kind of more reformist, should I say. And actually some aspects that I mean, in terms of my organization, we focus a lot on political and media literacy. So political education and political literacy kind of sang very much to me. But even just seeing some of the descriptions and how it was to be implemented or the kind of problems that it potentially comes up with it, in terms of things like votes at 16, for example, which was another topic that came up quite regularly, was just something that I think was something I didn't expect in a good way.
Yeah, I think one of the things I realize I don't know how much you all know about the process while we do, but one of the things which is nice is they come to us as blind entries. We don't know the name of them until we pick the winner. And I think the thing which is quite fun about the process, and what was particularly nice this year, was I thought how strongly the voices of the entrants came across. They had real personality while also having having a really clear argument, and also having the bravery in some cases to take on the premise of the question, which I thought was very nice.
Mm-hmm. Just to add as well, and the level of detail, facts, and figures used in quite a lot of the cases, I think some mainstream journalists could potentially learn a thing or two sometimes from it, which is great, because especially in a world of, you know, misinformation and quite easy manipulation of these kind of things, it's refreshing to see that kind of clear interest in detail, which is sometimes overlooked.
Yes, I think you're right. Actually, you talked about vote 16. One of the things I was surprised by as a recurrent theme, and I thought there were really interesting engagement with that, was the digital it was information on disinformation online, and the various attempts or lack of attempts to tackle that problem by governments. I thought that was another interesting theme that I wasn't quite expecting. I'm aware that we have a couple of minutes before the bit you're all here for, which is to find out the winner results. Do you have any questions for us before we get to that? I think, oh wait, no, I was about to say, I think from the dots, you may need to unmute, but if you use the raise hand function, we can come to you. Or, yeah, speak now, forever hold your peace. In that case, Michelle, do you want to announce the winner? So.
Yeah, no, I'd be delighted to do that. So it's an absolute thrill. I love this bit. It's this best part of my job every year, to announce the winners. So I also wanted to take the opportunity to thank everyone who took part, and our partners and fellow judges. You know, Liz Moorse, who's the CEO of ACT, sad that she couldn't be with us, but I think she also speaks for all of us when she said she was so impressed with the entries in terms of analysis and argument, and we've covered some of that in our ground earlier. So I really dearly hope that you continue to lean into studying, being active in and working in politics. And the Political Studies Association offers a student membership and a range of resources to help you if you wish to pursue this path. Fundamentally, we need people like you to create the political system that's up to the task to meet the challenges we face. So, you know, it's really important that, you know, that you play a vital part in that story. And so without further ado, I'm delighted to congratulate our two runners up. Our first runner up from Guildford High School is Erin Grant. So I don't know, Erin, if you want to make yourself known, but you don't have to, no pressure. But congratulations, Erin. Well done to you. Our second runner-up is Bethany Watson from Torquay Girls Grammar School. So I don't know, Bethany, if you want to say hello, but no pressure. Very well done to you. And the winner of the PSA FT Student Blog Competition 2023 is Isaac Stark from Highgate Wood Sixth Form. So hearty congratulations to you, Isaac. We look forward to seeing your blog published in due course. And back to you, Andrew, to close our event this afternoon.
So thanks very much, Michelle and Matteo and Stephen. Congratulations to all three of those of you who are highlighted, and particularly Isaac for winning, but also Erin and Bethany. Thanks for attending, and thanks also to the rest of you both who joined us here today, but also the many dozens more who submitted entries for the competition. I think all of them provided some really great ideas and insights, and the idea of writing and trying to make argument and participating in political debate, clearly a really important issue for society as a whole and for your generation. So thanks all again for taking part. A reminder also, of course, of our great partners, so at the PSA, the Association for Citizenship Teaching, and Shout Out, and of course the FT Schools programme. A reminder that all secondary schools have free online access to the FT, including its great political coverage, not least our wonderful commentator, Stephen Bush. So thanks to all of you. Keep reflecting, debating, and participating in the political process. Best of luck in the future, and goodbye.